Welcome to another Beauty Fitness podcast. I'm your host, Brian. I'm here with my co-host, Beth. But before we jump into today's podcast, Beth is going to take us through a few announcements.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. Of course, you all know the Beauty Fitness app is now live on both the Apple and Android platforms. And of course, those first 50 people to get downloaded and create their free account will be credited with the 5 free classes of your choice and the month of the free nutrition coaching, including the Intro to Flexible Nutrition seminar, one of the best seminars that we have. On the app, you can also check out some of our awesome virtual drop-in classes, such as Butts and Guts, Morning Mobility, Functional Fitness, SF Rebounding, and SF30, to name a few. FS30 is offered as one of our all-in-one packages that offers accountability, nutrition coaching, and fitness. The SF30 is designed for busy individuals ready to get up, get their workout done, and move on with their day. And since it's virtual, you can access this class from home or the gym. It's a great way to build a new habit or for those looking for more accountability. This is also a great class for the more experienced person looking to pump out their workout to their max. Everyone works to their level and their ability. And this class does not only include the Intro to Flexible Dieting seminars, but also the weekly Strength and Struggle seminar with myself, Coach Beth. Strength and Struggles is designed to help our clients work on habits, behaviors, and mental hurdles when it comes to reaching not only their fitness and nutrition goals, but any goals. And you can enroll in the SF30 program right through this Beauty Fitness app. Another one of our fantastic programs we launched this year is the Fit for Life Senior Fitness Program, and that is with Coach Megan. We know that maintaining a consistent fitness routine is important for all ages, and Beauty Fitness is excited to offer the Fit for Life Senior Fitness Program for adults looking to improve their cardiovascular health, increase strength, work on balance, and improve their overall well-being. These classes are designed to be low impact to prevent injury while also increasing muscle strength and energy levels. Best part about this class is that you can take it from the comfort of your own home. No weather or COVID issues. And these classes will run on Tuesday, Thursday mornings from 9 to 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you go ahead, download that Beauty Fitness app, book your free classes today. And once you get enrolled, you'll receive that confirmation email and one of the trainers will contact you.
Awesome. In today's podcast, we are talking to health and wellness practitioner, Rebecca Lichtentha. Rebecca, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. Before we jump into the questions and everything that we have for you, can you give the people out there a little background about yourself?
Yes. So I am a health and wellness practitioner, and I work out of 2 offices. I'm a mom of 5. My eldest is 21 and my youngest is 11. I have been a host mom to foreign exchange students. What else about me?
So you know the busy life.
Wow.
I do. Yeah.
So you have the 5 kids. You work outside of the home and inside the home. Do you do a little bit of both?
Yes. Well, I have 2 offices. So I work, so in addition, I travel. So I work in West Seneca and in Fredonia. So I have 2 different offices that I work out of. I also work retreats. So just recently I was in Alabama Shores working a women's retreat. So I offered some of my services there. I taught yoga every morning. I'm a yoga instructor as well. So I taught yoga every morning, and I gave Reiki and reflexology to everybody that was there. And I also led a workshop, which is one of my favorites. It's called the GEM workshop. It's a goal, envision, and manifest workshop.
Wow. So you are a plethora of knowledge and exciting things. And we have Rebecca and I have spoke previous before meeting on the podcast, and we had a little mini podcast of our own, I feel like, when we chatted about all of the things that she has dabbled in. So hopefully we'll be able to learn a little bit about everything, but we might have to have her back for another podcast.
I'm guessing we're going to have her back again. The notes I just took is like book second podcast part 2. So Rebecca, what piqued your interest in health and wellness?
Life.
Life?
Life is a simple answer. I mean, it was one thing that led to the next thing. I was really big into fitness. I worked with, maybe you know her, Robbie Raw, for a while. Yeah. So I took a class from her, and then I was addicted to her classes. So I was doing that for quite some time, and then I had an accident, which prevented me from any high impact exercises.
Okay.
So that led me in this whole path of healing. There were a bunch of other considerations that led to all the different things that I did, but it was basically one door opened and I walked through it, and then 5 more opened, and then I picked one and then went on from there.
What I love about that whole section that you just said was that, you know, you suffered from an injury, but you still kept going. You still kept finding a way to move forward with recovery and healing and wellness. And you didn't just quit on yourself. You just found something new. I love that mentality.
Thank you. Yes, it was a must. I was used to moving. So when I had this injury, I couldn't move. I couldn't move my neck at all. I couldn't look up. I couldn't look down. I couldn't look to the side. Nobody could sit anywhere near me. Nobody could touch me. I felt like I was going to break. And so then I finally had to do something. So then I learned how to connect with myself. So through meditation and reading and stillness. So
yeah, I actually jotted down here: mental, physical, and spiritual.
Yes. Yeah. And I feel like when people think of health and wellness or healthy life, or, you know, the first thing they think of is, oh, I have to have this super crazy exercise regime, and I have to be all over the place. And people tend to forget about the mental, spiritual side of health and wellness. And it is very important part of the whole journey.
Yes. So when I went for, so I do a lot of different things. Again, there's just a wide variety of services that I offer. People often ask me, they're like, so what do you do? I'm like,
right. So what is a health and wellness practitioner? I guess that's really what people want to know.
Yeah. And so it is, it's the whole body, mind, and spirit. And I'll tell you that the best thing that I did for myself, I call it my walkabout. It was when I went for my yoga teacher training. I went to an immersion with the school Yandura. They're based out of Mexico, but I went to Hawaii for the training. So I went there for a few weeks, and then you live that yogi life and the Ayurvedic food. So it was just so nurturing. And that to me just opened up so many more opportunities for me. And I'm so grateful for that particular training, as well as all my other trainings. But that one in particular, that one grounded me and set me in the path of where I am right now.
And was a lot of that training, when it came to the spiritual side of things with yoga, learning how to manage stress and let stress go?
And just, well, it was more of being present. When you're present, like I could focus on you. So all the other things, they're gone. And that's what I learned. And that's what I teach, is be here right now. Where are you? You're here. So be here. And then in that, you can breathe. So
staying in the moment.
Yes.
Is what you want people to do. Gotcha. That's awesome. I love that. That's so cool. That's so cool. And can you tell us what other services you provide, and then we'll talk about each one, because I am super interested.
Good. Thank you. So first, I am a yoga instructor. So I teach out here, actually right across the hall from my office. Directly over there is the yoga studio that I teach at. So I teach there 5 classes a week, and I do personal classes in West Seneca as well. Private one-on-one or one-on-two sessions. And we do Acu Yoga and all the different events that yoga consists of.
Steph talked to us about those. I thought that was really unique.
Yes. Yeah. Steph is amazing. She's a wonderful, she's just wonderful.
She's awesome.
I mean,
That was
I could
Steph's
go on,
podcast. This one's about
but-
you.
Yeah.
She is. She's amazing. She's amazing. And she's a plethora of knowledge too. So I'm blessed to work with her. And fortunate and thankful. So I'm a yoga instructor. What else do I do?
What types of yoga do you teach?
Oh, so that's great. So I teach vinyasa flows. I teach nidra. I teach yin.
Ooh.
A wide variety.
Can you give a little explanation of
I've
each?
never even heard of those.
Yes.
So a vinyasa flow is just a flow class. And then the yin class is where you hold the postures longer. So you're holding a pose for about 5 minutes. So it's more of a relaxation, right? So it's that yin versus yang. So the yang is the vinyasa and the yin is the opposite of that. So I teach that. I teach a nidra class, which is very similar to a guided meditation. It's just moving through the different body parts. So I relate that to something else that I do, which is hypnosis. So I'm a hypnotist. I'm a certified hypnotist with the National Guild of Hypnosis. And it's very similar to a nidra. And all of the things that I do, they all interconnect. So they're all connected, every single thing that I do. So those are the types of yoga that I teach. I teach a beginner's class as needed, but all of our classes are welcoming. And
Hypnosis is interesting.
Yeah. Can you go into
Oh,
that a little
yeah.
bit more?
yes, so hypnosis is where the conscious and the subconscious mind meet. And so that's what a hypnotist does. We bring both of them together and we help set you up to meet your goal. So whatever your goal may be. When you think of hypnosis, people will do it like the stage show stuff where they make you like quack like a duck. That's not what I do. I mean, if you want to pay me,
Yeah.
quack like a duck,
I was like, well, never mind then. Never mind.
yeah.
So has anyone ever come to you with needs for weight loss hypnosis
Yes.
or nutrition?
Yes. So weight loss is really big. It's weight loss and smoking cessation are two of the big hypnosis that I do. I also like to do it for relaxation and past life regressions. So that's a whole nother thing. Past life regressions. Yeah. So there's this book, it's called Many Lives, Many Masters. And that book talks about this psychiatrist who ended up doing past life regressions. And it's to help people with phobias, right? And other things that might, you don't understand why you have certain issues. And it could be a phobia. And when you do a past life regression, you may be able to, after multiple times, figure out the reason why, and then get over that phobia. It's
Wow.
It's very interesting. Yes. So weight loss is great. Weight loss is great in combination with other things, right? So the weight loss, I can, depending on how you want to achieve your goals, you know, if you're working with, let's say, a nutritionist, then using that information is going to help me help the client.
100%. And that's something that we've definitely seen in our field is how, you know, you spoke about how all of the areas of expertise that you have, how they all intertwine. And I don't think people tend to realize how often nutrition coaches, nutritionists, physical therapists, all help all of us work intertwined to help people, you know, reach their goals.
Absolutely. Because even acupuncture, right? Dr. Stephanie, she does acupuncture. She's like, okay, let's do this for our smoking cessation clients and our weight loss clients. And so we work together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, really awesome. And how does a typical session set up? Is it, how long is it? Yeah, for hypnosis. What is the client doing when you're talking to them? Is it, how is that?
I have a feeling it depends.
It really does.
Because we see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. But basically, you know, you're having a consultation. So each time they come in, it's that back and forth, that consultation. Where are they at? And it's not just where are they on the steps? We want to know where their body, mind, and spirit is.
Yeah.
Like, are you fully committed? And that's the same thing with fitness. If you want to achieve any of your fitness goals, where are you? Are they connected? So a lot of the time is spent with that. The hypnosis itself is a good while. You're sitting on a table, right? So picture going for like a massage or acupuncture, you're lying on a table comfortably for at least an hour.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm talking to you using your words, right? And the things that we discussed.
That sounds really interesting. That sounds really
Yes.
cool. That sounds
Yeah.
really cool.
Thanks.
So we have yoga, hypnosis. What
Yeah.
else?
What else do I do? I got lots of stuff.
I have notes here too. You do a lot of stuff. You do a lot of stuff.
Okay, so there was one that you brought up that I have a lot of questions about, and I've heard people talk about it before, but I know nothing about it, and that was Reiki.
Oh, yes. So Reiki it's a life force energy. And so we work with the Reiki, and the energy goes to where it's needed when you have a Reiki session. So I'm a Reiki master teacher. So I teach classes and I teach people how to give Reiki, and everybody does it a little bit differently. And it's a great way to help you calm the body, the mind, and the spirit, right? So we're unblocking chakras, and I'm going to get into a whole nother thing next. But
let's do it. I love it.
So if there's blockage in the chakras, we can help
What
them
is
spin.
chakra?
So they're spinning wheels, right?
Energy?
Yes.
Okay.
So we want to help align the energy, right? So sometimes you'll notice that some people talk like really, really, really fast all the time.
I'm a really,
And
really,
they
really
may-
fast talker.
Well, and
Tell me.
sometimes it's needed, to get your point across, but some people, they continually talk. And that is an overactive chakra. So that would be something that we would work on, right? Or there's somebody that has, let's say, low self-esteem, right? So their solar plexus is underactive. So that is something that we'll try to balance. And they,
Wow.
yeah. And so like if people have like headaches, people will come. So when I do Reiki, I typically do Reiki reflexology together. I'll have some clients that come in for just Reiki and some clients that come in for Reiki and facials, because I'm an esthetician too. So, yeah. So we like to do a bunch of things at once, apparently, with me.
Great multitaskers.
Right. So, yeah, so that's what we do in the Reiki. So if somebody has a headache, and let's say I'll do a little bit of reflexology, I can help with the headaches, mitigate the headaches with both Reiki and reflexology.
Oh, wow.
Let's talk about reflexology.
Yeah. Can we talk a little bit about reflexology? A little description about that and application?
All right. So the reflexology. So when I do reflexology, so again, like combination things that I like to do when I do facials, during like the mask while it's sitting on, I'll do a hand and arm reflexology. When I am doing like a regular reflexology session, it's on the feet, and our feet are a mirror of our body. So when you look at this is our spine right here, right through here. So if you're looking at the foot, like let's say you were putting your feet together, this is going to be the spine. So it's all reflex of the body, right? So we have all the nerve endings on the bottom of our feet. And so we can work on different things. So if somebody were, adjusting their nutrition and they happen to be constipated, that's something that I can work on. I can work on that reflex point on the foot and help them and help move that. So that's one of the things I can do. If somebody has a headache, again, if somebody has sinus problems, allergies, aches and pains, I have clients that come and see me regularly for neuropathy too. So
And can you talk about reflexology and some of now is it finding pressure points within the foot, or is it?
Yeah. So there's a lot of nerve endings on the foot. So there's like 2,700. So there's a lot of reflex points. So there are specific spots on the foot that correlate with like the internal will be organs.
Yes, that's what I want to know.
Yes. Yeah. So the inside of the foot are going to be the organs. Then you've got the outside that correlate with something else, the inside, and then the top of the foot as well. So if somebody had PMS or other problems like that, that's something else that I could work on another part of the foot.
Well, I'll be right over.
You know,
It's
right?
pretty good. I'm going to tell you, I really love reflexology and doing it with Reiki because I'm also intuitive. So I'll use the intuition with the Reiki and the reflexology, and then I can point out certain things. I'm like, oh, how's this? How's this? How's this? How's this? And they're like, wow, you know, because I'm picking up on things that nobody's really going to know if they didn't write it down on their consultation form.
Right.
So
I've always
It's
wanted to
pretty
have
cool.
reflexology done.
well, you could
Here we
come
go.
and
I know, we're really clear. You're right up the street from me, actually.
Yeah.
see?
It's a sign they're all connecting. It's
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you said you also were an esthetician as well.
Yes, so I am an esthetician as well. So I do facials and body treatments. I really enjoy that. So I do all different types. My signature one is a fan favorite because I use Dermalogica products and they have fantastic products. So I use the proper products, and having your skin analyzed by a professional is essential. So I highly recommend it. Because you want to use the right products. You could be using these fantastic products that cost $100 a bottle for, you know, something this size, but if you're not using it for your proper skin type, you could be doing more damage than good. So I do that, and the body treatments, which are fantastic. Like the salt flows are perfect right now, because if you're going to get tan and you got this dry skin, we're going to, you know, make it nice and smooth like a baby's bottom.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Ooh,
Yes.
gotta get on your calendar.
I am, you know,
I
right?
know.
Talk about a one-stop shop.
Right.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I love it.
I spend all day with you.
How
Yes,
long's
you
a
can.
typical session? How long you got?
That's exactly it. Sure. And then, so with that, like I'm a life coach as well.
Mhm.
So I think that anytime somebody comes to see me, they're getting the benefit of my other skills. So whether somebody's coming to see me for just a facial, I can talk to them about other things going on. I often like to ask. So I'm a life coach. I was certified from the same school that I got my yoga teacher training from. So it was additional credit hours that I went to Mexico, and my trainer was amazing. She is, I can give you an idea of who I trained with. This woman is friends with the Dalai Lama.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
So that's
Wow.
pretty impressive.
that's
Yeah.
yeah.
So when I learned,
You have to tell us about that full experience. You can't drop the Dalai Lama name and skip the experience. You have to tell us about the experience, how it was, the atmosphere,
Oh my
the
gosh.
vibe.
It was, well, this school, first and foremost, is amazing. So it's called Yandera. It's based in Baja, right? So right on the ocean, right on the Gulf there. Or actually, wait. No, it's not the Gulf. It's on the other way. But I was in the Gulf. Sorry, I get these confused. I was just on all the trips. So anyway, so we're on the ocean, right? This is where our training takes place. It's on the ocean, it's on the beach, and you live this yogi life. I mean, we tent. There are these glamping, right, with this bed, and it's on a tent, this canvas tent that's on a cement platform, and there are no lights. It runs off of solar panels, and so you're off grid. And it was absolutely amazing because you have the sounds of the oceans. I got to see my first dolphins ever when I was there.
Really?
Wow.
Like mind blowing, right? But this woman, our trainer, her name is Suil. She's originally from Scotland, but she's trained with the top people in Japan. I mean, she speaks many languages. She's amazing. She is a wonderful human being. She's brilliant. And ironically, her and I have a lot of things in common. She's also a hypnotist. She teaches NLP and all these other things. She developed programs that they use in Japan currently. Like it was amazing.
Oh,
Wow.
It was amazing. So this is what I learned. And the school itself teaches. So when I learned yoga, it's yoga from the heart, right? So it's that connection that you have with yourself. And so you lead from the heart. The life coaching is the same kind of thing, right? So it's these questions that I often ask my clients, whether they're coming in for Reiki, reflexology, a facial, like, how are you? And they'll be like, oh, I'm fine. Yeah. Okay. Where's your mind at? Where's your heart? And where's your spirit? Are they connected? They're like, whoa. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's an interesting appointment with me.
Yeah, no, but again, it's
Anytime you come in for something, you're getting something. And then, so one of my most favorite things, so you had asked, what is my most favorite thing? They're all my favorite. They truly are all my favorite. I mean, like I love teaching yoga. I could teach yoga all day long. I want everybody to do yoga. My youngest student came just the other day, 12 years old, to a regular class. Like, it wasn't kid yoga. I teach cheer yoga. I teach at the lighthouse out this way on Lake Erie. I teach at a country club. So I go all over and I do different things, but numerology is one of the other things that I do. And I find that is very enlightening for people, right? And it's just it validates people, right? So it's just like astrology. You're learning when you know what your natal chart is, you learn who you are, your attributes, the talents that you have, any challenges you might have in life. And you can actually learn where you're headed in this particular lifetime through your astrology and through numerology. And so those are interconnected. And I base this manifesting workshop that I have. It's kind of like vision boarding, but using all my other skills in there, the life coaching and all the other things, and a little bit of the hypnosis, and that is mainly geared to, like NLP, so which is neuro-linguistic programming. So it's reframing. So
deep. It's
so
very deep. And
can you explain for the people that don't know what a natal chart is and what a vision board is?
Okay, so a vision board, here, I'll show you what a vision board is.
Love it.
Here's a vision board. Okay. So it has your wishes and desires, right? So with a vision board, it's one of the things that I like to teach. I want to say most, but I want to say that about everything. So when you do a vision board, we connect with the body, mind, and spirit first, because you can, have all these grand ideas. And this is the whole thing that's related to numerology. So we have life paths, and that's what we're supposed to do in this lifetime. Then we have personal years, which are, I can go on about this.
Do it.
I'm going to try and okay.
Do it.
All right. So numerology, we live in 9-year paths, right? So we live in these 9-year cycles. So they're the numbers 1 through 9. So they all have a meaning, and they all mean something different. So when we ride the waves, right? So when we know what we're supposed to do in a particular year, that's where our focus is going to be. So if you're doing something and you feel like you keep hitting yourself against the wall, it's probably because you're not supposed to do it in that particular year or in that particular time frame. So people will often do that. So what I like to do is help people. So you can have these great goals, and I'm going to help you to figure out when the timing is right, because often people think that the timing is right because something approached them, but where in fact it may not be. So that's what I like to do. And when you're setting up your vision board, knowing to work with the energy. So knowing, you can have this 5-year plan, this 10-year plan, because people often talk like that, right? So especially when you buy a house, which is what my prior life used to be. I sold real estate for 15 years, right? And I just totally trajectory in the other direction. So people have these plans of 5-10 years, which is great to have. So I'm going to help you figure it out each year by year of what you should be doing. And then you're going to feel like you can achieve anything. You truly can achieve anything as long as you're working with the energy. So you can also connect the body, mind, and spirit. So if you're putting things on a vision board, and because they're pretty and you're like, oh, this sounds like a great idea. And then you know, 2 months down the road, you're looking at this board and you're like, why did I put that on there? Like, that's ridiculous. Right. And it's probably because you weren't connected to your body, mind, and spirit. So we do that through some guided meditations and stuff like that through this workshop that I offer.
Wow. That is really cool. That is super, super cool. So it's a lot of like guidance, empowerment.
Yes.
Like self-realization, like just there's a lot of things going on in there.
Yes. Oh, and so you asked about the astrology and the natal chart. So astrology, people will often say, oh, well, my astrology chart says this and this and this. So people often look at just one thing, and that's their sun sign, right? So you're like, oh, I'm a Gemini, right? My birthday is June 1st. I'm a Gemini. That's true. That is your sun sign, but there's so much more to you than just your sun sign. So your sun sign is your personality. I always say, look at your big three if you're actually going to read those horoscopes. So your big three, and you can go online and you can find out what your natal chart is. You just need your date of birth, time of birth, and location of birth. And then you can print out your natal chart. And there's a bunch of different sites that you can use for that. But you want to look at your big three, which is your sun, your moon, and your rising signs. And that's going to tell you a lot about you. That's a lot about your characteristics, which ironically matches up with your numerology.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. So they're just confirmations, right? Everything's a confirmation. Everything's confirming each other. So they're great to have. I look at other points in the astrology chart, and I look specifically at the natal chart and not necessarily transiting, because I like to help people figure out who they are. And I always go like this, because that's our center. Like, you always want to find center. So if you're in a yoga class, it's like, okay, you're centering in, you're grounding, you're centering in. So I feel that my mission is to help people find their center. And through everything that I do, I like to help people find their center. So find out who you are, where your integrity is, and what truly drives you and what you're here to do. And you have all the answers. You can look for other people for some help, which we should do in life, right? Is ask for help and accept help. Some people are challenged by that. But when you know who you are, right, it's your true north. And when you know where you're headed, we all get lost. We all do. Even the greatest of us, we all get lost. But when you know where your north is, you can always return, right? It's that compass. It's always going to lead us back into the right direction. So that's what I like to do with the numerology, the natal charts, the life coaching, the gem workshop that I have, and all the other things.
Wow. I like
that. Was a lot.
No, that is awesome. I love it.
Which would you say is the most popular? Which one do you feel like people come to you for the most? And I know you tend to typically use your intuition for what they need, but what do you feel like is the most common thing that you see when people present to you? And then you can say, well, you know, maybe this X, Y, and Z is really what you need.
So that's a great question. I have clients that like to see me for a variety, because they say that they just want to be in my presence, right? So I'm like, okay, well then let's do this and let's do that and let's do this, right? So I have clients that see me monthly. They're like, well, I don't necessarily want a facial every month, or I don't want
just enthralled by everything that you do, and they're like, what can you do for me?
Yes. But I'll often get the messages through like Facebook or Instagram or text. So I keep seeing this number. What does that mean? Right? We all do it. Like, I keep seeing this number. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, well, take a class of mine, because I teach numerology. Take a class of mine. And then instead of looking up, you're already going to know what the answer is, because if you know what the numbers mean, then you can piece it together. Because it's relative to what's going on in your life if you continue to see specific numbers. I know.
No. I have like 900, I have like 900 more
seeing?
questions now. See? Yep. That's so interesting and so cool. What strategies do you have for people that are trying to get back to their center or trying to find their north if they're a bit lost?
Ooh, that's a great question. Ooh, that's an interesting question. So the strategies, I don't have like a specific strategy, right? So I don't go, it's not like a default. It's dependent on the individual. So where are you at? Like some people they want to get to their end point. And I know that you two see this. They want to get to their end point without really doing the work.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, let's reel it back in. Let's reel it back in and let's be realistic, right? And so that's what I help people achieve, right? Let's make realistic goals.
I
And
think that's huge. That's so
yeah. Right. So what is your lifestyle like? Can you achieve this? Is this doable for you? Are you willing to change your mindset? Because if you're not willing and able,
almost like a self-reflection.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm good at mirroring. I'm a non-judgmental person. Anybody that comes into my space knows that they can tell me things. It's the craziest thing. People are like, I don't know you, but I'm going to tell you my whole life story. And tell me like very vulnerable things.
Yeah.
And I just help them feel heard.
Yeah.
And I give them that space.
I think that's such an important opportunity for many, many people. And I feel like there are so many people that do not let that out. They do not talk about the things that are happening. And it really tends to hurt them in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah. I think some of the intuition that I have too. So I have this intuitive ability. It came, this is very random how it came. It an interesting story, but for another time. And
feel free. I am so into this. Like, this is so cool.
I have some intuition that leads to certain questions that will then allow people to open up a bit more. So that, like, it would be completely random, and then they would open up about it because of, and it just comes to me. It's like I just will say a word that is very random to me. Like, I have no idea why that word just came out of my mouth, but it meant something for that person that I'm with.
So you really help people navigate through a lot of different areas.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
So that's so cool. That's so cool. But I really like the finding your center. I think that just,
I think that travels over into every aspect of life, and people don't even realize it. You know, it's not just something where, you know, you only find that if you're in yoga, or it only benefits you for being in a yoga class, but it's a strategy that you can learn to implement in your daily routines for your own self-help. And we as a society are missing so much of that. Oh, and that's frustrating. So it's really exciting to meet someone like you that has all of this knowledge. And I'm so glad that you actually, you know, that you joined us to be able to share this opportunity with our listeners. Because I feel like we tend to wrap ourselves in these little bubbles in our comfort zones. And, you know, the only way that I can relax is to have a glass of wine. It's the only way, you know, I'm going to drink. And, you know, there's so many other aspects to the mental health, physical health, all of it together.
Spiritual health.
The spiritual, all of it. And I'm glad that we're talking about that tonight.
Yeah.
And we talk to people a lot about recovery and finding other ways to cope. And there are so many areas that are underutilized when it comes to doing that. And you're starting to see a lot of people take more and more, practice more and more with them, or be a part of them and incorporate that into their life, which is great. You know, like Beth said, some people will be food dependent, you know, and it's like, well, have you ever tried this? Have you ever tried this? Or alcohol dependent? Have you ever tried, you know, like you said, being able to open up and talk to somebody, you know, helping somebody find their center, but also making it a point, like you said, to realize that you're constantly going to be working on staying there.
And coming back to it, because there are circumstances, you know, I can tell you the amount of loss that I've had in my life, you know, that trickle down to my children who lost their father and things like that. Like, there are so many variables that, okay, well, let's get back to center. And I have to say that, so you asked about a strategy, and it just came to me that gratitude, right? So we come back to gratitude and being thankful. So I go to bed and I wake up every morning with gratitude. Every day I wake up in my yoga classes. I mean, my students, they're probably sick of hearing me say it, but I'm like, I'm always grateful for them to show up, because it gives me an opportunity to be there at the studio, which I absolutely love. But gratitude for waking up, for having breath. And that's I have that in my workshop as well, that GEM workshop that I keep talking about.
Mhm.
So there a lot of these are the strategies that I use in my life that have been helpful, and others that I talk with that have found it helpful. So then I decided to put it all together in a workshop.
What else is entailed in the GEM workshops? Like, how long are they? When are they?
So I like to keep it to 2.5 hours.
Okay.
So the 2.5 hours truly seems like maybe 30 minutes. I'm not even going to lie.
I could see that, because it feels like you've only been talking for 3 minutes and I have so many more questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
So it depends on the size of the class. It depends where it is, because I teach these all over. But there's a lot of stuff in a short period of time that I like to cover. So sometimes, I showed you one of my vision boards. So what I did was I changed it for time purposes for this workshop. So what I have people do is I have people take a piece of paper, and then there are like 5 guidelines that you have to follow to do it. And so then people will write words or draw a picture, and then they'll go back if they want to clip out pages or go on Canva and print out, pretty pictures and stuff like that. They can do that. And at the end of those workshops, there's an intuitive reading, which is always mind blowing. Everybody's like seriously,
like how we are right now.
Yeah. But it's often, I have at least one person cry in every workshop.
I could totally see that. You're touching on some, I could see that.
Yeah. And it's not, to make them cry, it's just their emotion happened to come out in one way or another through the variety of things that take place in this short period of time. It's like, whoa. And then I offer a complimentary life coach session after that, so that I can talk and we can, decompress what had happened through the workshop.
And how would someone go about setting those up, or are those offered on specific times and days, or?
So if somebody wanted to contact me and they wanted to host it, that's something that they can just contact me at my contact information. They can text me, they can email me, they can reach out on Instagram or Facebook. My website is still in progress. It's not up yet.
It's on the vision board.
Yeah. It is on the vision board.
We know all that.
3 years.
Yeah.
It keeps making its way up. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. So, I focus more on the here and now, that sometimes all this other stuff is like, can be a bit more challenging for me, like the technical stuff. So I recognize that. I look for help in the right place. I have a lot of people, I want to help you with that. I want to help you with that. I want to help you with that. Business owners, I want to help you with that. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, okay, let's set it up. I'm like, can you get in here though? Because if you can't get in here, like,
Right. Yep. I agree with you.
yeah. So anyway, yes, you can contact me if you were interested in hosting it. I offer it here in my Fredonia office. I offer it in West Seneca. My West Seneca
It's usually
office.
a group setting.
Yes, it's usually a group setting. I can do one-on-one as well, which is very interesting. But that's more of, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to talk about it. We could do it virtually as well. We're going to talk about it, and then you're going to take your time and do it. And then we're going to reconnect. And then you're going to take your time and do this other step, and we'll reconnect. So it works like that as well.
Now, with you having so many awesome different things that you offer, 5 kids, how do you manage everything?
So I am very fortunate. I have an excellent ex-husband. He helps me a lot. My three of my kids are older. One's graduating from high school next week.
Oh,
and
awesome.
She's going to go away for college. My other daughter's away at college. Another daughter is on her own. And then I have my 2 little ones at home. So makes it more manageable that my older kids are older.
Will it take a bit of coping to have a child leaving from high school, going off on their own? Because I know my kid's just going to the middle school and I'm having a hard time with it. And it's like, it's still close to our house. And I'm like, they're growing up too quick. It's
I'm
so
the opposite. I'm like, is it rude of me to make a chain countdown for them to go? Sorry, that's just me.
I don't like to clip the wings of anybody.
Mhm.
People get a lot of shutdowns in life, and I tell my kids, you live your passion. So one of my kids is in school in Savannah, and that's a distance away, and she's had a bit of a hard time being away, but she's making it work. She came back for this last quarter and she's going back in the fall. So she's going to try and make it work again. She's getting a great education. It's super expensive, but it's her passion. And this is where I see her going, and I have since she was a child. So yeah, so letting my kids go, and then the other one's going to Boston. And I'm like, I love traveling. I travel, I see my kids, I visit friends along the way. I have friends all over the world that I travel to see.
That's really awesome.
So I make it work.
Yeah, that's really cool. My wife calls me a helicopter parent. I'm like, honey, we're going to be empty nesters soon. Our kids are 7 and 11. She's like, we have some time. We have some time.
Things are going to happen in the meantime. I mean, they might still be at home and go away to college,
Yeah, it's so
know.
interesting just seeing your kids grow up. It takes a little bit of like, well, you're happy, but it's a little sad at the same time,
I know. I am like a little teary-eyed that my kids are numbered. Number 3 is graduating from high school. I'm a little teary-eyed.
Oh man, It takes a lot to get used to.
Yeah.
Especially when they stop thinking I'm cool. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm not cool anymore. Remember, but 2 years ago, no, okay.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part when they're all of a sudden like giving me the look like.
I'm like, no, we're gonna watch my high school football highlights again. Oh, so Rebecca, can you give everybody your social media, email, website, just again, so they know of ways to contact you?
So ways to find me. So I'm right here in the village of Fredonia. Fredonia is very small, so you can't miss me. I'm right on Main Street, across from where they have the farmers market, across from
farmers markets.
Yeah, I know. So I'm right here in Fredonia. I am in West Seneca on Seneca Street, 3648 Seneca Street, out of Seneca Springs Wellness. I work at the yoga studio over here, Deeply Rooted Wellness, again on Main Street in Fredonia. You can reach me on Facebook at Rebecca Lichtentha. It's a public page, so you can see my 5 children on there, and the 1,000,001 things that I do, and even the exchange students that I host on top of all the other things.
Oh, we got to talk about that too. Wait a minute, we can't go anywhere yet. Jeez. Wait, there's more.
But wait.
You can finish giving your contact info, then we'll chat real quick about that.
Yeah, why not? So Rebecca Lichtentha on Facebook, and then it's Buffalo Becky Wellness on Instagram. And that's because I have friends that live throughout, like I said, throughout the world that call me Buffalo. So yeah, I meet them on travels and we become friends, and I visit and they visit.
You've become wonderful. Buffalo Becky. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So yes, I hosted exchange students.
From where?
Germany.
Wow.
Germany. Yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
A couple of years. So that was an interesting way I got involved in it. So I said, because there was a student that came in from Madrid a couple of years ago, and he was fantastic. He'd be at my house all the time, hanging out with my daughter. And even when he came back to visit, he came and made sure he said hi to me. It was a wonderful kid. And then I said, oh, that would be really cool. I said this to my kids, right? This is me speaking to the universe. I can manifest anything, I tell you. I said, oh, it'd be so cool. I would love to host an exchange student, right? Okay. I say this out loud. My daughter says, hey, Mom, remember this exchange student? So I met this one exchange student at a party. Another family here was hosting this particular child. I go to this party that he's at, and I'm talking to him and I'm talking to the family. And, so they're with him for a couple months, my daughter, and he was only supposed to be here for half of the year. And so my daughter says, "Hey mom, remember Oliver? Yeah. So he needs a new home to go to. Otherwise he has to head back to Germany." And I'm like, okay. So it's like the story of your child brings home a lost puppy and then you end up keeping it. So that's what happened. I mean, this happened in the matter of
now.
So a matter of 2 days, and I had an exchange student. I was like, okay, we're doing this. And so then with the organization that I got involved in, she's like, okay, well, we have students, and sadly he had to go home because of COVID. Mm-hmm. Right. So all the exchange students had to, return back to their countries. So he missed out on that opportunity. And then the second one that I got was post-COVID. So he was here for half a year and it got pushed back because of COVID, right? And the restrictions that were there. So he came, and he's actually coming next month for a visit. He'll be here for 6 weeks. So that would be fantastic. I'm super excited. Yeah, so it's really cool how that all transpired. But yeah, you can manifest things.
I see that. I'm manifesting a second podcast with you because there's so much more to cover, and we got to do this again. We have to pop in and see you. I think this is so. I can't thank you enough for being on the podcast today. We covered so much, and I'm sure Beth and I I have so many notes here that I'm sure we have a bunch more questions as well. And awesome. I mean, I definitely like to pop in and, try out
some of the services. She was talking about this.
Absolutely.
Her glow thing. I'm like, yeah. You want to rub my face? And give me, let's do this. And talk to me about, what's going. Yeah. Woo.
I
game.
But just real quick before we finish up, I do think that's so cool though, when you say you talk to your clients, how are you doing? How's your day going? I think a lot of people in life could use that, and how much that actually means when you ask somebody, how you doing? And then when they open up, you talk about stress relief. Some people just need someone to talk to, someone who asks, because we won't tell if we're not asked. We'll just hold it in, and then you're overwhelmed. Where you can easily just help somebody relieve stress and kind of take that weight off their shoulders if they can somebody just ask them how you doing, and you chat with them. I think that's so cool.
One of the things that I'm often told is my perspective, right? So they're like, wow, you make it sound so much better, right? Because I just offer that turning it into a positive, whatever is happening, right? And turning it into a lesson, like that's a lesson, and how can you look at it more positively without necessarily using those words, but
right. Especially today's day and age. I mean, I think a lot of people, probably 99.9% of the population, can benefit from your services.
Oh, thanks.
I'm serious. I think it's so awesome what you provide people, and it's so beneficial on top of that.
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah, the phone will be ringing off the hook after this podcast.
I'm ready to fill that calendar.
It'll just be Beth and I. Hey,
she's booked. Everybody, don't try to contact her.
Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. I'm going to tag all of your contact information once we get everything up and posted. We're definitely going to be chatting with you again, and I'm sure we'll be in to take some of your services. I mean, I can't wait to try reflexology and Reiki and everything. So it's just like everything. Awesome. We thank you so much for joining us today. For myself and Beth, we will catch everybody next podcast.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.